Welcome to your deep dive into the madness.
Ooh, exciting.
Today we're going to be focusing on episode 6,
Okay.
Loco,
All right.
where things take a wild turn.
They really do.
So we're going to be unpacking how the conspiracy thickens, how characters evolve under pressure,
Uh-huh.
and ultimately this episode's exploration of the quest for justice,
Yes.
when the world feels anything but just.
Right.
You might find this episode particularly interesting
Okay.
because it really lays bare the motivations driving our key players and reveals just how deep this rabbit hole goes.
Yeah, you know what's striking about Loco is that it's a turning point.
Okay.
Not just in terms of the plot, but in how it forces the characters to change, adapt,
Right.
and even question their own beliefs.
Yeah.
It's a real shakeup.
Let's start with Muncie.
Right.
Washed ashore after that close call with Julia.
Yeah.
He's found by Room,
Yeah.
who's got some pretty intense ideas about Muncie's role in society, even
Yeah,
though
right, yeah.
Muncie's clearly being framed. What's interesting to me is how Rome's reaction, whether we agree with him or not,
Right.
speaks volumes about the power Muncie has,
Yeah.
even unwittingly.
Oh.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you're spot on.
Okay.
Rome's character really throws fuel on the conspiracy fire.
Mm.
He sees Muncie, even as a falsely accused man, as a figurehead,
Yeah.
someone who could spark major societal change.
Yeah.
This echoes a theme that runs throughout Loco,
Okay.
the power of perception.
Mm.
It makes you think about how easily narratives can be manipulated
Right.
and how individuals can become symbols for movements, whether they intend to or not.
It's true.
Think about historical figures who were either demonized
Yeah.
or put on a pedestal, regardless of the full picture.
Right.
It's a really interesting parallel.
It's a bit unsettling when you put it like that.
It is, yeah.
And while all this is happening, we
Mhm.
have Keone's tirelessly working to connect the dots.
Yes.
He uncovers a link between the murders and Revitalize, that shady tech company.
Oh,
Suddenly, the conspiracy feels much bigger,
absolutely.
wouldn't you say?
The revitalized connection glows the scope of this case wide open.
Okay.
It implies a level of organization and power that goes way beyond anything we saw in previous episodes.
Yeah.
This begs the question,
What's that?
who's really pulling the strings at Revitalize?
Right.
And what could their end game be?
It feels like every answer just leads to more questions.
Exactly.
And just when you think it can't get crazier, we get that bombshell scene at Stu's mansion. Both Stu and Don Sloss are found dead.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Jack.
Talk about a game changer.
That scene is pure narrative genius.
Yeah.
Not only does it raise the stakes dramatically,
Uh-huh.
it makes Muncie look even more guilty,
Right.
strengthening the frame job against him.
Wow.
You start to doubt everyone's motives.
Yeah.
It's like the episode is whispering in your ear, don't trust anyone.
It definitely had me second-guessing everything.
But amidst all this chaos,
Uh-huh.
there's Lucy, who's transformed from a grieving lover into this proactive source of information for Quinones.
Right.
It's remarkable how she's taking control of her situation.
It really is.
Wouldn't you say?
Lucy's evolution is one of the most fascinating aspects of Loco for me.
Okay.
She's not just reacting to the tragedy,
Right.
she's actively shaping the narrative. It makes you consider the power of grief as a motivator.
Yeah.
It can cripple you,
Mm-hmm.
or it can fuel you to seek justice,
Right.
to reclaim your agency in a world that feels out of control.
It's true.
And that shift in power dynamics, she's no longer just the victim, is incredibly compelling.
Yeah, it really makes you root for her.
Absolutely, doesn't it?
It does.
And then, of course, there's that high-stakes escape from the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
We have Julia disguised as a doctor, Callie risking everything to help Muncie, and Quinones bursting in,
Right.
but not without consequences.
Yeah.
The tension in that scene is almost unbearable.
It really underscores the danger everyone is in.
That entire sequence is a masterclass in suspense building.
Yeah.
But what struck me most is Julia's willingness to harm innocent people to get to Muncie.
It's true.
It's chilling
Yeah.
and forces us to confront a difficult question.
Which is?
How far is someone willing to go in their pursuit of justice? Or perhaps vengeance?
Right.
Does Julia even see a line anymore?
That's what makes her such a complex character.
Exactly.
We saw hints of her ruthlessness before, but this episode takes it to a whole new level.
Definitely.
And to top it all off,
Mm-hmm.
Muncie ends up at a safe house, waiting for HQ officials.
Right.
It feels like a moment of reprieve, but I can't shake this feeling that it's just the calm before the storm.
You're right to be wary.
Yeah.
Is the safe house truly safe? Can he trust those officials? And will Muncie even get the chance to expose the truth before it's too late?
Right.
These are the questions Loco leaves us grappling with. It's
Mm.
like the writers are deliberately playing with our expectations,
Yeah.
making us doubt every bit of information we're given.
It's true.
What does this say about the nature of trust?
Okay.
Especially when powerful institutions are involved.
Right.
I think that's something you might want to consider as we dive deeper into the next part of our analysis.
You've definitely given me a lot to think about.
Good.
So before we move on, let's take a moment to recap what we've uncovered so far in Loco.
Right.
We've seen how the conspiracy has expanded with the introduction of Revitalize, raising the stakes significantly. We've witnessed characters like Lucy transform in the face of tragedy,
Right.
becoming active agents in their own narratives.
Powerful stuff.
And we've felt the ever-present danger surrounding Muncie and those trying to help him,
Yes.
making us question who can truly be trusted in this world.
Precisely.
Loco throws us deeper into the chaotic world of the madness,
It does.
leaving us with more questions than answers.
That's for sure.
And that's the beauty of it. It keeps us engaged, forcing us to be active participants in unraveling the truth,
Exactly.
ready to unpack even more.
Oh, I'm ready.
Let's dive into the next part of our analysis,
Okay.
where we'll delve deeper into the psychological impact of this episode and explore what it reveals about the characters and ourselves.
I'm fascinated to see where this goes.
Me too.
Let's do it.
All right.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the madness. Ready to continue exploring the twists and turns of Loco.
Absolutely. It's like we're piecing together a puzzle, and this episode just dumped a whole box of new pieces on the table.
And some of those pieces are starting to form very intriguing patterns. Let's talk about Julia,
Okay.
whose actions in Loco are particularly revealing. Posing as a doctor, infiltrating a hospital, even firing at Quiones,
Yeah.
she's become a force to be reckoned with.
You can say that again. Remember, in earlier episodes, Julia was the one exposing corruption,
Right.
striving for justice. But now she's breaking the law, willing to hurt innocent people.
Yeah.
To achieve her goals, has she crossed a line? What do you think is driving her at this point?
That's the question that keeps gnawing at me. Is it revenge?
Okay.
Or is there something more at play? Think about her breakdown after the shooting.
Yeah.
There's clearly more to his story than cold-blooded vengeance. It's as though she's battling her own internal demons while trying to expose the demons lurking in the shadows.
It's almost Shakespearean, the way her internal struggle mirrors the larger chaos unfolding around her. And speaking of internal struggles, let's talk about Muncie. Here he is trying to expose the truth,
Right.
but he's constantly being manipulated,
Yes.
framed, forced to rely on people who might have their own agendas. What does this constant pressure do to a person?
Muncie's journey reflects a growing distrust in institutions that many people feel today.
Yeah.
He's a journalist who has lost faith in the very system he's a part of.
Right.
The constant manipulation and framing create this sense of paranoia and suspicion, which, interestingly enough, mirrors what we, the viewers, experience as we try to decipher the truth alongside him. It creates this unsettling feeling of,
What's that?
who can you trust?
That's a brilliant point.
Thanks.
The episode makes us feel Muncie's unease, making the viewer a participant in the unraveling mystery. And remember his unlikely alliance with Rome,
Yeah,
who views Muncie as some kind of revolutionary figurehead.
that's right. Rome's perception of Muncie adds another layer of complexity.
Uh-huh.
It speaks to the power of symbolism, how someone can become a representation of an idea,
Right.
whether they want to or not.
Okay.
Think about how this happens in our own world,
Yeah.
how individuals become the face of movements for better or worse, sometimes intentionally, sometimes not.
It makes you wonder if anyone can truly control their own narrative when they become a public figure. But it's not just Muncie and Julia grappling with these moral complexities.
Right.
We also have Callie putting her own safety and career on the line to help Muncie escape.
Yes, she's incredibly brave.
What do you make of her choice to go against the grain, even within a system she likely knows is corrupt?
Callie's actions are a breath of fresh air in this increasingly suffocating atmosphere. It's a reminder that even in systems that seem irredeemably corrupt,
Yeah.
there are individuals who hold on to their integrity.
Okay.
Her bravery suggests that it is possible to fight for justice from within, even if it means taking enormous risks.
She definitely gives us a reason to hope. And then there's Lucy, who
Yes.
has gone from grieving to actively participating in the investigation.
Right.
Her partnership with Quinones is quite something. It seems like they're finally starting to make some real progress.
Lucy's transformation is so inspiring. She's taking control, using her grief as fuel to uncover the truth about her fiancé's death.
Right.
It's a reminder that even in the face of immense tragedy, we can find the strength to fight for what's right. And her collaboration with Quinones showcases how powerful it can be when individuals from different backgrounds come together, united by a common purpose.
It's a powerful dynamic. And speaking of Quinones, he's been relentlessly chasing the truth.
He has.
What does his pursuit, especially considering his partnership with Lucy, reveal about the kind of person he is?
Quinones embodies the unwavering pursuit of justice. He's not just going through the motions. He's deeply invested in this case,
Right.
fueled by a sense of responsibility and a desire to bring solace to those who've been wronged. His partnership with Lucy adds an emotional layer to his investigation, highlighting the human cost of these events.
Right.
It's not just about solving a puzzle. It's about honoring the memory of those who have been lost.
It adds a depth to the story that goes beyond the usual crime thriller. Loco isn't just about the twists and turns. It's about how these events impact the characters, how they struggle, grow, and ultimately how they try to make sense of the madness swirling around them.
You've hit the nail on the head. Loco delves into the human cost of conspiracies, betrayals, and the relentless pursuit of truth. It's this exploration of the human condition that elevates it beyond a simple genre piece.
And just when we think we're starting to understand the players and their motives,
Right.
the episode throws another curveball.
Oh, yeah.
Muncie ends up at a safe house, supposedly protected by HQ officials. But after everything we've seen, can he really trust them?
That's the unsettling question Loco leaves us with. Is he finally safe? Or is he stepping into an even more elaborate trap? The episode masterfully plays with our expectations, forcing us to question every piece of information.
It's true.
That makes you wonder, how do we navigate a world where those in power can manipulate narratives so easily? How do we discern truth from fiction?
We're definitely left with more questions than answers.
We are.
And that's what keeps us hooked.
For sure.
So what are the key takeaways from Loco that you think we should be focusing on as we move forward?
First and foremost, Loco reinforces the idea that no one is truly safe in this world.
Oh, wow.
Julia's actions show us the lengths people will go to, the lines they'll cross to achieve their goals. And the body count keeps rising, adding to the sense of urgency and danger.
That's a chilling thought, especially considering that even characters we initially perceived as good are making morally questionable choices.
It's true.
It makes you wonder if anyone can truly remain untainted in this world of secrets and lies.
Exactly. And secondly, Loco highlights the power of perception and manipulation. Muncie's unintended influence on various factions, even while being framed, shows how easily narratives can be twisted and how individuals can be used as pawns in larger games. It's a cautionary tale about the importance of critical thinking and questioning everything we're told. Do you find yourself questioning things more, looking for those hidden agendas in your own life?
Honestly, yes. After watching an episode like Loco, you can't help but be more aware of the ways information is presented and how easily we can be misled, even by sources we think we can trust.
That's the mark of a truly effective narrative, when it makes you question not just the fictional world, but the real one you inhabit as well. And finally, Loco emphasizes the theme of resilience. Despite the danger and betrayal, characters like Lucy and Callie choose to fight for what they believe in, even if it means going against the grain.
They are beacons of hope in this increasingly dark world.
They are.
It's inspiring to see them taking control, refusing to be victims.
Indeed. Loco is a story about finding hope amidst chaos, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there are individuals who choose to stand up for truth and justice. But as we move forward, I think it's important to consider this. We've seen the dominoes fall, the web of conspiracy widen, the characters evolve. But the question that remains unanswered is,
what's that?
Who is the puppet master orchestrating this entire chaotic symphony? Who stands to gain the most from Muncie's downfall and the ensuing chaos? This is the mystery we must unravel as the season continues.
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And it's one that will keep us on the edge of our seats. We've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
Unpacking the shocking events of Loco,
Mm-hmm.
exploring its deeper themes and implications, and analyzing the characters' motivations.
Right.
But I feel like we've just scratched the
We
surface.
have indeed. Loco is a complex and layered episode, rich with symbolism and psychological depth.
Okay.
But before we conclude this part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your thoughts.
All right.
What stood out to you the most in Loco?
Hmm.
Which character's journey resonated with you on a personal level?
That's a great question. I'm particularly drawn to Lucy's story.
Oh, yeah.
Her transformation from grief-stricken to proactive is incredibly powerful. It makes me think about the ways we find strength in unexpected places,
Uh-huh.
how we can reclaim our agency even after experiencing profound loss.
That's a beautiful insight. And it speaks to the universal themes that the madness explores. Themes that resonate with all of us, regardless of our backgrounds or experiences.
Absolutely. But there's still so much to uncover.
There is.
The mystery of the puppet master, the future of our characters,
Uh-huh.
the truth that remains hidden beneath layers of deceit. It's all waiting to be explored.
Precisely. Loco is just one piece of a much larger puzzle.
Hmm.
And I, for one, can't wait to see how it all fits together. Are you ready to dive into the final part of our analysis?
Let's do it. We've discussed the events, the characters, the themes.
Okay.
But there's one more layer we need to peel back: the psychological impact of this madness on everyone involved. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the madness. We've talked about the shocking events, the deepening conspiracy, and the characters' complex journeys. But now I want to focus on something that often gets overlooked in thrillers like this. The psychological impact of this, well, madness, you know? I mean, these characters are dealing with some seriously heavy stuff.
You're absolutely right. The psychological toll this conspiracy takes on everyone involved is a vital part of the narrative. It's not just about the external chaos, but also the internal battles, the doubts, the fears, the erosion of trust. Think about how Loco plays with our sense of reality, just like it does for the characters.
It's true, you know, I found myself constantly questioning everything, just like Muncie must be doing. He started out as this idealistic journalist, and now he's being hunted, framed, forced into these impossible situations. It's got to be messing with his mind.
Absolutely. What's fascinating to me is how Muncie's descent into paranoia mirrors our experience as viewers. We're also trying to make sense of the clues, figure out who's trustworthy, and that creates this lingering sense of unease. Almost like the episode is infecting us with the very madness it depicts.
It's like a virus spreading from the screen into our own minds. And it's not just Muncie who's affected. Think about Lucy. She's lost her fiancé, her world has been shattered, and now she's thrust into this dangerous investigation. That kind of trauma can leave deep scars.
Lucy's story is a powerful example of how trauma can either break you or make you stronger. She's channeling her grief and anger into a quest for truth. It reminds me of the saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But it also makes me wonder, at what cost? Is there a point where that pursuit of justice becomes an obsession?
That's a valid concern. It's like she's walking a tightrope, and one wrong step could send her tumbling into the abyss. And she's not alone. Think about Quinones, who seems determined to uncover the truth no matter the cost. He's carrying the weight of all these unsolved murders, the pressure to find the perpetrators, the guilt of not being able to protect those he's sworn to serve.
Quinones represents the burden of responsibility, the psychological toll of being the one who has to face the darkness head on. You can see it wearing him down both mentally and physically, and it makes you wonder, will he find solace in justice, or will he be consumed by the very evil he's trying to fight?
That's the dilemma, isn't it? Does fighting monsters inevitably turn you into one? And then there's Julia, who seems to have fully embraced the darkness. Is she purely driven by revenge, or has she lost her moral compass in this twisted world?
Julia's psychology is perhaps the most fascinating and disturbing element of Loco. She embodies the potential for corruption that exists within even the most righteous crusaders. Her descent into violence and deception forces us to confront an uncomfortable question. How far would we go to expose the truth? What lines would we be willing to cross? It challenges our own sense of morality.
It's unsettling because we see a bit of ourselves in each of these characters. We all have our breaking points, our moments of doubt, our inner demons, and Loco reminds us that sometimes the line between sanity and madness is incredibly thin.
Precisely. The true madness lies not in the extraordinary events or the shadowy figures, but in the subtle shifts within the human heart. It's in the choices we make, the compromises we accept, and the justifications we create when confronted with the darkness within ourselves and the world around us. The madness is a mirror, reflecting those internal struggles, and it's a journey that stays with you long after the episode ends.
You've articulated that beautifully. It's a reminder that the most compelling mysteries are often the ones that reside within us.
Exactly. As we conclude this deep dive into Logo, I encourage you to reflect on the psychological impact this episode has had on you. What resonated the most? What questions lingered in your mind? The Madness is a show that demands active engagement, not just with the plot, but with our own internal landscapes.
Well said. Thank you for guiding us through this deep dive into the madness. It's been a thrilling, thought-provoking ride.
The pleasure was all mine. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep diving deep into the stories that challenge and inspire us.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us on this journey. We'll be back soon with another episode, so stay tuned.